Economic system doesn't work.
And now, introducing your host, Randy Tobler.
It didn't have to do with the protection of multi-millionaires and billionaires wanting to have their children get an American citizenship. It is the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's been so badly handled by legal people over the years.
Well, what is that? It is the interpretation of the 14th Amendment and who's subject to the jurisdiction of. And if they're really not, according to the ideas at the time, should they be allowed citizenship? Those will be the arguments being thrown around today and the arguments in front of the Supreme Court. President Trump may be in attendance. Zach Smith from Heritage will help break that down later on at the 7 o'clock hour. Welcome into Wake Up Missouri. Stephanie's there and John's there and Drake's there. Glad you're here. Going to be some rough weather, right, John? In mid-Missouri, I think some storms, maybe hail, maybe, not sure.
Yeah, I think they're saying the latest check was from the Weather Channel saying the possibility of severe storms is on the low side.
Oh, good. Okay.
So we'll hold them to it.
Well, April brings showers, right?
That's
and,
it.
And you need one, Randy.
Not that kind of showers.
Took one this morning.
Yeah. We're back. We're so back, Randy.
Got my water softener now in. I feel good. Get the silky skin when you have the water softener. No more squeaky skin. I like that.
Can I use my access to all the people listening right now to ask a question?
What question would this be?
How do you get over a sunburn? Because it's like gotten to the point where it's cracking and it's so bad that it just hurts existing.
Have you tried aloe vera?
Yes, I have.
Noxzema.
Yes, John.
What's that?
It's like you get the jar of Noxzema that's like the face cleanser or something. We keep it in the fridge.
Yep.
I don't know what's in there, but it works.
If you get the aloe vera, you want to make sure it doesn't have alcohol in it. Some of those things have alcohol in them, but you should get the nice
the aloe I have has lidocaine in it. It's awesome.
Yeah, well,
but I have to apply this like gooey crap on me.
The Aquaphor wouldn't be a bad idea either. We talked about that yesterday.
Aquaphor, the jar of whatever Stephanie has, and more aloe.
Just anything that has the width of the mouth that you can put a spatula in generally will be pretty good. You know,
Gotcha. Thank you.
It's going to be pretty soothing.
So some Crisco might be.
Yeah, there you go, Crisco, and it doesn't matter. Just something that's moisturizing and soothing.
Or how about be smarter and wear sunscreen?
There you go.
Yes.
No, that gives you cancer, Stephanie.
So that's one of the big stories today. This evening, they're going to attempt again to launch Artemis. You know, we talked with Dr. Cohen yesterday from the NASA. She's a planetary scientist about that. And they're going to really build on what happened in the 70s. So it'll be fun to see that take off.
And Trump is going to address the nation, and we are going to carry that live across all the Zimmer news stations.
Very, very nice. That'll be good at 9?
I think it's
8 Central,
yes.
9 Eastern. And that'll be interesting to see. I mean, he's intimated that the war could end, but yet the straits are sort of like superfluous because we have all the oil we need. And, you know, he's really getting angry at the Europeans.
He basically told them, go get your own oil.
Get your own oil, fine. It's all up to you. You guys, I'm out of here.
Fight your own fight.
But would that mean that he would need to put some kind of restriction on exports of our oil? Because I think Alaskan oil goes somewhere over, to the west. I don't know.
You should have asked Aaron Hedlund that last night.
Yeah. It was a big night for those of you who were out at the Boone County Lincoln Days, the 250th gala celebration. It was really, really nice. Nice venue over there at the Elks Lodge, the convention center at the Elks. It was nice. And Catherine Hanaway spoke. Boy, she really chronicled all the things that she's doing to fight for us, right? For the people, to keep us safe and protected, to keep women's places safe spaces. And she broke the news that, she broke the news, I guess, yesterday to Presser, right?
Right.
And talked about it more, that this, there's this sort of semi-synthetic derivative. They take one of the elements of kratom, and which has mind-altering effects, hits some of the opioid receptors, and they put it on steroids, basically. It's called 7-hydroxy, 7-OH. And it is really like multiples as potent in some ways of respiratory depression, cardiac effects, as the opioids that your doctor can't give you more than a few of, right? You go to the emergency room, you break your leg, you're in excruciating pain. They can give you like seven pills of Percocet or Vicodin. You try to prescribe something for a patient to give them some acute pain relief. Pharmacist is told, I can only dispense so much. But you can go to the C-store and buy this stuff that can be fatal. I mean, there have been fatalities from this stuff. There's some arguments going on, some, I guess, negotiations in the legislature, in the General Assembly, about whether to ban it. But that's not, I guess, really having a lot of play. So Catherine Hanaway says, we got to put an end to this. And so there's one particular manufacturer, and she's going to go after them. She filed suit yesterday, right? So it was very cool. You look at Catherine Hanaway's resume, and you go like, wow. I made the analogy, like, for those of you who like Wonder Woman films, sort of the superhero gal, she's that when it comes to legal matters and defending, what's right and the Constitution and all that. So it was very fun. And Denny Hoskins spoke. Aaron Hedlund gave a great talk about, what's going on in the White House. He's a member of the White House the Council of Economic Advisors, a very, powerful and influential group up there. And it's like, hey, we have to take the look at the long road here. Things will work out. The president's plan is unfolding. Yeah, a little glitch here with what's necessary for this national security move, but that is going to actually secure economic security as well, without all of the volatility in oil and everything. Once we get this thing settled over there, and I'm confident it will be, the president will tell us more tonight, then I think that people will be surprised. And these midterms might unfold differently. So we'll see how it goes. 573-874-9390. If you're out there, it was great to see you. We had the young speakers, the young and upcoming, influential conservative people in our midst. We had Heather Overstreet and Paige Schulte and Brendan Poteet. In our area here, they're really leading young people in the conservative/Republican movements. Very good.
It was inspiring. And, of course, we had our trusty MC, Randy. You did a great job. It was good to see Helene as well. And always a fun
That's the
night.
best part about those events that Randy's goes to. It's just me and Helene chopping it up while he's doing whatever. Did anyone wear Nike Dunks there?
No.
Well, then no young Americans really showed
Did you
up.
see any of those?
They were dressed professionally. I didn't see a whole lot of tennis shoes, but we did see the red jacket.
Yeah,
Secretary
Denny
Hoskins
has his red jacket, and he said he has had death threats.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets nasty grams routinely because he's trying to keep voter rolls clean and trying to do the right thing and abide by the Constitution. It's just amazing. Bob Onder, Congressman Onder, gave a rousing speech. Rick Bratton got pretty worked up. He gave a real barn burner of a speech. That's going to be a hotly contested race, right? We have Taylor Burks, our friend Taylor, and then Rick, our friend Rick.
Yeah, and the chips are settling because yesterday was the last day of filing. I believe for some races where there were late withdrawals, there's a period by which the filing reopens, but we're starting to get a better idea of who's running in what races. And so we'll continue to monitor that and report on that. But yeah, there's going to be more competition in some of these races than we had originally thought.
The number of veterans and people in military service who'd served this country in the room was amazing. I mean, I'm always so humbled when you see the number of people from various generations, different wars that stand up and are recognized. And I guess at this time, when our service members and their families are in a different environment than they were, between the long, endless war and this latest conflict, it puts it just puts a different context on things. So we daily pray for our people at peril, at risk, as the conflict goes on over there, and their families as well, as they make a big sacrifice too. And I think the other thing is, what's with this weather? Is this the way it's going to be? Like, we've got rain all the time. April comes, I can't play in the dirt.
I thought you'd be excited that it will be helping all of your plants.
Yeah, but you can't.
And haven't we still been kind of in some drought conditions? So we've needed some rain.
I think so, yeah. But now you can't
hardly
get
have
in
any snow.
Yeah, but this is the time of year between now and May when you want to put in some new plants in the ground, right? To replace the ones that don't come up, and you have to wait for the ground.
You got to work on that gardening if your stuff's not coming up.
I don't know.
And have to put up with stinky, wet dogs.
Oh. I think I told you I killed the crabgrass in our yard last year, and I've got a moon patch out there now with a bunch of soggy, wet dirt, and Simba, the blind wonder dog, goes out there, and it gets all messy. It takes me a half an hour to clean him up. Now I'm just going to take him out and walk him in the front where there's a little grass. Now, Trump did a thing yesterday that has met already with a lot of legal resistance. Did you see this?
Can Trump do anything that doesn't meet
Well,
a lot of legal resistance?
So he signed this. This is weird. He signed this order to create eligible voter lists, right? And I guess the idea is that if you're going to mail in a mail-in ballot, well, here's what Howard Lutnick said about it.
The states, right, run these elections. They will, if they want to use the U.S. mail, the U.S. Postal Service, they're going to get a code, a barcode from the U.S. Postal Service, and they're going to put that on the envelope, and we will have one envelope per vote. None of this time where we have no idea, there's no observers to mail, there's no envelopes, there's no certainty. That's all going to go away, and what the president is doing today is he's going to make sure that mail-in ballots are safe, secure, and accurate, and will have a clear distinction.
So the federal government is going to somehow curate if it's going to go, I think the argument is if you're going through a federal resource called the United States Postal Service, I think what he's arguing is that the feds have some jurisdiction over the sanctity of said piece of mail and that it represents what it should represent. And therefore, they're going to determine whether the state that mails you a mail-in ballot or provides one is providing one that is, in fact, that your ballot represents you and only you. So they're going to have like USPS approved mailers, for all I can think. And right away, this guy, Mark Elias, you know this Mark Elias guy? He's a big name.
I'm aware, yes.
Yeah, what to tell us about him? Because you know more about him than me.
I don't, other than he has a lot of money and he funds every...
He's not on our side.
No.
Okay. He's already fought it, you know? or already, I think, fighting it with some kind of a counter suit. But I think Trump makes his point, as he has in birthright citizenship. And when he fought the tariffs, he lost that one in the court. But he's making the point and bringing it up for discussion and, stirring the pot a little bit so that we have a conversation about it. That's what we do on Wake Up Missouri. Glad that you're here and a part of the conversation. Text line 573-874-9390. Phone line 800-529-5572. DC Rundown coming up.
It's Wake Up Missouri.
legislation, all of this, everything having to do with birthright citizenship, it was at the end of the Civil War. The reason was it had to do with the babies of slaves and the protection of the babies of slaves. It didn't have to do with the protection of multi-millionaires and billionaires wanting to have their children get an American citizenship.
Time for the Daily DC Rundown with Stephanie.
Trump is expected to attend the arguments in person. That is rare. I think I heard that no president has ever attended an argument. So, but of course, I think, how do they do it? I think there's like a lot, there are some seats where you can attend, but typically there are like invitees and the room's pretty small. But he says he's going. And of course, this is important not only because this is a really important case for him, but he's in the middle of a war. So him taking time today to go to the arguments sends a message. We are also, let's talk about SCOTUS a little bit. Yesterday, the Supreme Court ruled 8-1 in favor of a Christian counselor challenging Colorado's law that banned conversion therapy for minors. The argument was that it violates free speech rights. The court didn't actually fully strike down the law, but it's getting sent back to the lower court where folks expect that the ban is to be overturned. Colorado's attorney general called the ruling a setback from protecting kids, and but it matters because more than 20 states have similar bans that could be affected and challenged in the future. So that is your SCOTUS news for today. We've got Zach Smith from Heritage joining us at 7:10 to really break down that birthright citizenship case in as a preview to those arguments that are happening today. Do we need to talk about the Kristi Noem thing, Randy?
We need to. We have to.
Yesterday,
great story.
Yesterday, I don't know that it's a great story. Yesterday, it broke that her husband, who she's still married to, apparently has weird fetishes, and particularly with women's chests, and sometimes wears prosthesis. I don't know what that was.
Balloons under the shirt.
And then chats with people online about his weird fetishes. And I think it was also revealed that he knew about her affair. And anyway, weird things. And so that was all over the internet yesterday.
Her alleged affair, right?
I think he basically said, I know about it.
Yeah. Oh, so it's been confirmed. He confirmed it.
All right. Okay. In less weird news, the president is going to give a formal address tonight, which we will carry on all of our Zimmer stations live. It will occur at 8 Central. He is I think on both sides of the aisle, I think people have said it's time for him to come back before the nation and address the war. Of course, he said it was going to be 4 to 6 weeks. We are in week 5. We've got U.S. forces headed that way or in the area, I don't think we technically are saying that we have boots on the ground yet. We've got high oil prices. Our allies aren't standing shoulder to shoulder with us, and folks have a lot of questions. So what we're looking for tonight, or expecting from Trump, first, he's still justifying the mission, the mission itself, reassuring everyone, I think especially about the rising oil prices. And then, like he did on Truth Social yesterday, he's expected to kind of send a warning, not only to Iran, but to others about, I think his warning yesterday was, I don't really care if that strait opens up Europe, you're on your own. So we'll see if he continues that message this evening or takes a different tact. But
Europe is really an embarrassment. I mean, they need these resources. And for them to be just so in our face about not only not helping us, but obstructing us in this effort.
Yes.
Wow. Wow, just wow. Well, crazy Matt Gaetz, thinking of birthright citizenship, I'm asking the question, should aliens have birthright breeding rights?
I think just local
Welcome back into Wake Up Missouri. I'm Randy, along with Stephanie and John and Drake. Glad you're aboard. Today there'll be Supreme Court arguments about birthright citizenship. Because can an illegal alien drop a baby, or can any alien come in here even with a passport? And there's a lot of Chinese obstetric tourism going on, where they just come in and they, in 38 weeks, come in for, quote, travel, have a baby, and then there you go. And then chain migration results, because then mom and dad and aunts and uncles and second cousins once removed, and God knows where it ends, can come in. And the president has said he's the plaintiff in that case, and he's going to be, I don't know if there's more than one, but he is a plaintiff in that case. He's planning on being there. He thought he was going to be there in the tariff arguments back last year over that tariff issue. He lost that case, by the way. But he didn't show up then, but maybe he'll show up today. So aliens come in, have babies. Anyone comes in, has a baby, and then the baby's a citizen. What about aliens from another planet?
Aliens are aliens, I guess.
Programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. An actual uniformed member of the United States Army briefed me on that.
Non-human biologics, interracial alien mating? What the F is going on? Look, wait a second. You had whistleblowers tell you this kind of thing? Can you please unpack that?
I had a guy who was uniformed. He was a senior enlisted with the United States Army. Came into my office in Crestview, Florida, in a non-classified setting. I had members of my staff there. And what they explained is that the military ran a very secret program where aliens that were living were in forced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones and from even the caravans.
So,
what?
Talk about a different kind of birthright citizenship. Matt Gates says that he was briefed by a whistleblower in a military uniform that there is forced intergalactic hybrid breeding with aliens from other planets. So the government's sex trafficking with
little green men.
E.T. phone home?
Well, you're missing the connection here. This is the Avatar plot from the get-go.
We're not actually doing geology research with the Artemis. We're sending up folks to breed with
breeders,
aliens.
Huh?
Yeah.
Forced breeding.
I seem to recall this program going viral a few years ago because former Congressman Luke DeMeyer pointed to a Mr. Matt Gaetz and basically said he's all about the clicks and the cameras. And I think this could be some of that.
What do you think, Drake?
One, is he mentally slow? He said interracial, no, it would be interspecies, for one, and two.
True. Well, yeah. Unless there's other humanoids.
There'd still be different species. Unless if they were, no, they would still be a different species. But this is ridiculous. I just don't know what to think.
I mean, most of the time, crossbreeding, they're many, if you're different, you can't breed, except there are crosses of certain animals. So
yeah, they're sterile then.
Yeah.
Well, but maybe
mules.
Right.
Well, I don't know. If Americans aren't breeding, maybe they need aliens breed. We're not replicating our population.
And so those people, they were crossbred and now they're living amongst us?
Oh, in secret installations.
But they haven't taken over or anything. They're nice half aliens. I don't know.
This is where a guy like Ben.
Yesterday, the internet was weird. Between Kristi Noem's husband and this, I was like, almost, was it a full moon? Was yesterday?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
tonight.
That makes way more
There you go.
sense.
Well, let's check. If a full moon, we do the Drake Whitman hairy palm check. Are your palms getting hairy ahead of the full moon here?
No.
Oh, okay. John, palm check, please.
So today's a full moon and April Fool's Day. That's
There you go. Yep.
Now, this is where a guy like Benny Johnson, who is a prominent conservative social media influencer and, ex-poster, maybe, I don't know. Is it good to have a guy like that on promulgating these kind of bizarre plots? doesn't do him any good, does it? I don't know.
There's no bad publicity, right?
Yeah, well, I know. That's what they say, but maybe that's only true to a certain point, right?
You do have to wonder a little bit about the April 1st connection, though, too, don't you?
Yeah, that's true. Now, talking about Kristi Noem's husband, I remember he apparently he's putting pouting, busty bimbo photos of himself on with balloons under his sweater and shirt instead of,
he really needs to work on the placement of the balloon tie.
I don't know. I think he needs to, do a checkup from the neck up. Remember what happened to the bird dog?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Kristi took the bird dog out. Yeah. But wasn't her story one of a family business and sort of an idealized marriage and everything at one point, sort of rough and ready South Dakota, rugged outdoors people.
Cowpokes.
Now, maybe he wasn't a part of that, and I just have inserted that as an assumption that if Kristi's going to be this,
I mean, that you mistook him for like a cowboy. Wasn't there like a gay cowboy movie? What movie? Yeah, there was.
Brokeback Mountain.
Brokeback Mountain, yeah.
Didn't
see that one.
There are cowboys with interesting choices.
That's right.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was a cowboy or not. I don't know much about him.
I don't know. I just think it's bizarre. I don't know. There's other judicial news. Did you see this Judge Leon has put a hold on the construction of the East Wing reconstruction, the ballroom?
That's Will Scharf's project. Will Scharf was in charge of the construction project.
So this is a weird deal. Now, the president went and called in all the, the cranes and the wreckers, and they tore down the East Wing. And I don't know how far or if they've really started the construction of this ballroom replacement. But this Judge Leon, who was a George W. Bush appointee, I think, says he is not the owner of the White House and pretty much excoriated him.
But said that Congress could okay it. Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, well, that was my thing. So now what are we going to have? An ugly, destroyed, demolished East Wing property there as part of the White House grounds until the Congress? I mean, they can't even fund the Department of Homeland Security. How in the world are they going to get together on this? The Democrats will obstruct because anything Trump wants to do is wrong. Republicans won't have the spine to stop to get it through with a filibuster or whatever, breaking the filibuster. So what will we have to wait? And how many administrations down the road will something be rebuilt now?
Now it should be noted that the White House immediately appealed the decision.
Yeah, but we know. I mean, come on, law doesn't go at the speed of Trump. The courts don't go at the speed of Trump. They go at the speed of courts, and so...
Well, this decision came at an important time because apparently 2 days from now, the National Capital Planning Commission was the one that was supposed to sign off on the construction.
Oh. Well, could they just go ahead and just... Is it maybe just a little turf battle and having to pee on the post and say, no, we have the authority, and yeah, we'll go ahead and grant it to you, but you should have asked us first. Maybe it's just a turf battle, huh?
We will see. It's just everyone hates Trump, and like I said early this morning, I don't know that there has been a Trump action without a reaction from.
They've already filed the Court of Appeals already received an appeal.
Yeah.
The National Park Service is the defendant. I guess a representative of the administration. A lot of the comments are the president doesn't have the right to destroy 234 years of history. I don't know. It was a pretty bold move.
A right to improve it?
Well, but it was a pretty bold move.
The White House has seen all sorts of construction projects with, what was it, Truman, who added the pool and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's been several big work projects that have modernized the White House over the years. It wasn't just the East Wing, albeit the scale's a lot bigger.
Well, I'd like to know. Okay, so didn't Obama build a basketball court? And okay, the Truman Pool and other things. Did they go through some process that allegedly Donald Trump hasn't gone through? That's the only point here.
And that's what, I mean, Trump's statement after the ruling was, we built many things at the White House over the years. They don't get congressional approval. Now, he's been known to exaggerate a little bit and miss some of the details. So
Really?
I don't know if that's, I don't know if there's ever been a project that they determined had to get congressional approval. I'm sure if we went through the briefing of this case, the folks challenging this have cited to those issues or to some authority on by which, this project would need congressional approval. But again, it's going to be tied up in the courts for a minute.
I think at least ideologically, what gives it a little more oomph and I think credence is that, as we understand, this is being funded privately, right? This is not being. I think so.
Yeah, it's private donations.
Whereas I'm not sure that's the case with the previous so-called improvement.
But no kings, and he's the king, and he's trying to build his palace, and we're mad. Grr.
Well, after all, he's going to run for a third term,
I mean, he should get a ballroom.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see where it goes. I'm okay with the construction and with what's planned. I would have liked to seen maybe a little more consultation. Just, you know what I mean? That would have not been a bad idea. But we'll see. Problem is, I don't blame the president. He's used to being a guy that just makes decisions. And when you come from the business world, you're used to making decisions, building a better mousetrap. If it's not quite perfect, you just you go through that cycle of improvement, testing, re-improvement, testing, rebuilding, testing.
Yeah, it was an interesting comment from Aaron Hedlund last night. And he goes, if you're not familiar, there are several places, in the White House complex where the president's pretty likes whiteboards, right? And we have lists, and there's two columns, and one column is promises made, and the other one is promises delivered, right? And Aaron was saying, if you're not moving things from one column to the other, the president's going to be on you, right? Like and so he comes out with these plans and expects you to get on it.
Yeah. No, and I think that's good. That's an accountability tool, right? I mean, we all have those in one way or another. Sometimes it's people in our orbit. Sometimes it's our own planner or, spreadsheet. Yeah, it was a big night last night. I hope you were, wish you were there. If you're not, you want to make sure, when you get a chance to show up at these events, they're a lot of fun, and to rub shoulders with people of like mind and it's just a very patriotic feeling when you're around great Boone County Republicans.
Check the Missouri GOP website, because there's lots of Lincoln Days events going on right now. So if you miss Boone County, there might be one near you that you can attend in the future.
And, speaking of that and activism, Jen made the comment that you can become officially affiliated with, associated with. All you have to go is go to the Secretary of State site, and it's real quick, right? Real quick process. Okay, cool. When we come back, one of the popular artificial sweeteners may affect your brain cells negatively. That when we come back on Make Missouri Healthy Again.
It's Wake Up Missouri.
like to avoid sugar and look into artificial substitutes for sugar. Not a bad idea, but you have to temper that as you look at the landscape of studies. You've heard of erythritol? It's a popular. Well, you've heard of xylitol, anything
okay.
So these are sugar alcohols, right? They're not absorbed in the body, but they are sweet, and they're absorbed. Some are absorbed, some aren't. But they give you gas because bacteria love them too, right?
I remember the explosive. Yes. What were those? Like gummy bears?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
sugar-free.
Sugar-free gummy bears.
People really
right.
bad problems.
Well, erythritol is in dozens and dozens of diet things as a sugar substitute. And now some research, again, early research, but there was an observational study that showed that people that had higher levels of erythritol in their bloodstream had higher risk of stroke. So then they took cells that line the blood vessels in your brain called endothelial cells. So you got a blood vessel, got a tube carrying blood. The lining cells are called endothelial cells. Those cells have a couple of important functions. They produce nitric oxide, the things that like beet special stuff, all those beet supplements work on. Nitric oxide helps expand blood vessels, and it's made by the lining cells. They also make a clot-busting substance called tissue plasminogen activator, TPA. Suffice it to say, those are very important, very, very important products of those lining cells. Well, it turns out that when they took those lining cells, albeit in a lab, and submitted them to erythritol, those functions, those very important blood vessel dilating, opening functions, and clot-busting functions were dialed down.
Ooh.
So, and this sort of, it aligns with the observational studies that those people in previous studies who had higher levels of erythritol had a higher level of stroke risk. Now, could it be that they were taking more erythritol because they were obese and diabetic and, other stuff, and that's really the problem? Could very well be. I just would caution you. This sort of goes back to the RFK, Maha, eat real food theme.
Sweeten your food with dates.
Eat real food. Eat real food. I'm not saying that a petri dish, a lab dish experiment done with a substance on cells from your body necessarily translates to a high risk, but just something you want to keep in mind. This is where bench research, basic lab research, as it begins to validate, or in some cases not, those observational studies. When you look at mechanisms, observations, then the next thing to do is somehow do some kind of a controlled study where you take a group of people and you say, hey, we're going to monitor your intake going forward. You're going to send us a diary every week for 10 years. And you find out that's where you really confirm these kind of things, and you try to separate out some of the other problems. But it's just something to think about. I've been an advocate of sugar alcohols in general, but only because I think that they're the lesser of two evils, or at least they're, eliminating one evil, which is sugar. Sugar is just not, too much sugar is not a good thing. Right?
Yeah, sugar. Well, if you're going to go with the artificial sweeteners or the sugar what? Makes you fat and rots your teeth, right?
Well, and gives you diabetes because, it creates a lot of problems there, too. Sugar doesn't give you diabetes, but it puts on the weight, which ultimately gives you diabetes. Drake is giving the thumbs down. You love sugar.
Love it.
Are you
Can't
eating
live without
Oreos
it.
for breakfast currently?
No, but I'm drinking coffee with a lot of sugar in it.
Hey.
A little bit of sugar now and then, not a bad thing. But if you're drinking the high fructose brand of sugar, that's not very good, guys. So stick with the water, put a little lemon in it. That's a good thing. Zach Smith on all of the legal stuff going on in a minute.
economic system doesn't work.
And now, introducing your host, Randy Tobler.
It is the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's been so badly handled by legal people over the years. If you look at the original birthright citizenship papers, they all happened right after the Civil War. The reason was it had to do with the babies of slaves. And hopefully it's going to say, because our country is being scammed. We're getting all of these people. They're selling the rights to them. People are making a big living, getting hundreds of thousands and even millions of dollars from bringing people in and saying, congratulations, your whole family is going to be a citizen of the United States of America.
Well, today there'll be arguments, and maybe President Trump will be there to see whether, in fact, the long precedent and tradition of birthright citizenship for anyone who is born here, no matter who their parents are, is given citizenship. Zach Smith joins us now, senior legal fellow at Heritage and an expert on his focus on the Supreme Court, really in focus today on Wake Up Missouri. Zach, this is going to be interesting, isn't it? I know you'll be riveted to it.
Well, I think a lot of people are going to be riveted to it. There's going to be a lot happening today at the Supreme Court. You know, President Trump said he is going to attend the arguments. That is unprecedented. We've never, to my knowledge, had a sitting president before attend arguments at the U.S. Supreme Court. So that'll certainly be a unique aspect if President Trump does go and attend. But look, President Trump is right. He is on much more solid footing than I think many on the left give him credit for. If you look at the text of the 14th Amendment, if you look at the history surrounding the 14th Amendment, it seems clear that the 14th Amendment was only designed to make sure that those who are U.S. citizens, those who are permanent residents, those who essentially owe their allegiance to the United States, that the children of those individuals become citizens. I think the framers of the 14th Amendment would find it a very odd situation that you have birth tourism, that those who are in our country illegally, that the children of those individuals could become citizens and ultimately enjoy the full rights of citizenship as well. So this will be a very big day at the court, very important arguments, and there's a lot to watch later this morning.
Now, there's some cases that we might be hearing about today that each side is relying on. Talk to us about this United States v. Wong Kim Ark 1898 case and why that might be a big point of discussion today.
Yeah, so this was a case where essentially the son of Chinese immigrants tried to enter the United States. U.S. officials rejected his entry, said that he was not a U.S. citizen, even though he was born in the country, because his parents were not U.S. citizens. The Supreme Court overturned that decision by U.S. officials because they said essentially his parents were long-term residents. They intended to stay in the United States, and they had renounced their allegiance to other countries. They had essentially joined our political community and had transferred their allegiance to the United States. And if you look at what President Trump is saying, what John Sauer, your fellow Missourian, who's now the Solicitor General, is arguing in his briefs and what he'll argue at the Supreme Court, that's essentially what the president is saying. He's only saying that those who are here temporarily, those who are here illegally, those who still owe their allegiance to a foreign government, to their home countries, should not enjoy the benefits of having their children become citizens by birth. And Wong Kim Ark is consistent with that reading and that interpretation that the president and Solicitor General John Sauer are putting forward.
We're talking with Zach Smith, senior legal fellow and manager of the Supreme Court and Appellate Advocacy Program at Heritage, about the Supreme Court arguments today. But there's other things going on, and we'll cover those too as our conversation continues on Wake Up Missouri.
Yeah, we followed the career here of John Sauer. Many of us know him personally, and the several of the things he's been involved with the High Court and all. What do you see his role continuing to be for the president? I mean, he's pretty effective.
Well, he's effective, and he plays a crucial role. Look, the Solicitor General of the United States is essentially the president's lawyer who specializes in arguing cases before the U.S. Supreme Court. And John has been incredibly busy, given some of the nonsense, to put it mildly, that's been happening in the lower federal courts. He's had to go to the Supreme Court many times, ask the justices to step in, which they have in many circumstances. And many of the cases that he's arguing, including the birthright citizenship case later today, are incredibly consequential and are going to have implications for decades to come. So John has done a great job. He's certainly left his mark on the SG's office, and he'll continue to do so as long as he serves.
I think in some of the hearings about these issues and in the discussion, we hear from the Democrats like, oh, what about this particular person? Wouldn't it be horrible if they were deemed not a citizen? Now, but I think this is an interesting point, because I think what the Trump administration is saying, hey, the 14th Amendment, it's a constitutional floor, not a ceiling. And Congress actually has the authority to expand those so if there is some sort of small group of people that, it really would be unfair that they don't now have birthright citizenship or into the future, doesn't Congress have the authority to solve that problem?
Yeah, they do, and there's a statutory argument as well that'll take place at the court today because Congress has adopted a statute that essentially uses the same language as the 14th Amendment. So you could see the court try to take an off-ramp, try to decide the case on statutory, not constitutional grounds, which means that Congress could, in fact, step in and change the circumstances as appropriate. But look, Stephanie, one of the problems that I think isn't getting talked about enough, just from a policy perspective, to your point, for what Congress can do, is there's a very real issue with birth tourism in the United States. Individuals who come to the country temporarily, give birth to a child or children, and then return back to their home country. This is particularly problematic. Many Chinese nationals have come into our country, given birth, and then returned back to China. And so I think that's part of what President Trump is concerned with, and it would seem unfathomable that the framers of the 14th Amendment would have envisioned that amendment would have provided citizenship to those individuals who are engaging in that birth tourism.
Can you talk to us about some of the cases involving Somalis in the high court with their temporary protected status and the asylum claims and all? Where are we at on those cases?
Yeah, there's a lot of cases. A lot of those cases are still working their way through the lower federal court. It's not just Somalis. It's many other individuals from other countries as well. But look, temporary protected status was designed to be temporary. Shocking, I know, where the DHS secretary could essentially say that the conditions in certain countries, due to humanitarian concerns, individuals could come in and stay here temporarily. Well, the problem has been that temporary protected status has often been extended time and time again, where it's become a de facto permanent. And so what Kristi Noem did when she was Secretary of Homeland Security, I was assuming what Mark Wayne Mullen will do now that he's DHS Secretary, has said that, no, the conditions on the ground in many of these countries have changed. Individuals who are here can now return home. The same humanitarian crises that existed at the time are no longer present. And so the temporary protected status should end. And if you look at the authority Congress has given to the DHS Secretary, it seems clear that is the purview of the secretary to decide, not a judge to impose his or her view in lieu of the secretary's opinion.
The Supreme Court brought down a big decision yesterday, very one-sided. I think only Ketanji Brown Jackson was the only one that dissented. It was really about counselors, therapists being able to talk to people who were wanted to modify their behavior if they were sexually motivated in one direction or the other and wanted to change that direction or change their behavior. And the Supreme Court said you can't gag anyone from talking to a person that requests help, right? That was a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal. The case is Childs versus Salazar is out of Colorado. Colorado had a so-called ban on conversion therapy. Now, many other states have similar bans. Blue states passed this. They were very much in vogue several years ago, where they essentially said that counselors cannot counsel clients. They're cannot provide therapy, essentially telling their clients that they should affirm their biological gender. So essentially, counselors could not tell someone who came to them who wanted to transition to a different gender, couldn't tell them that, no, God created you male, God created you female, and that you should affirm that gender. And so this therapist out of Colorado challenged that ban because she engaged only in talk therapy. She didn't prescribe medications. She didn't provide other treatments that could be available. She simply provided talk therapy to her clients. And so she said that this conversion ban violated her First Amendment rights. Now, the Supreme Court, in its decision that it handed down yesterday, was a little bit narrower than I think many people would have hoped for. They didn't go as far as to say that Colorado's ban outright violated the First Amendment, although they certainly gave strong hints that it did, but they decided it on a very technical ground. They essentially said that the lower federal courts had applied the wrong standard when evaluating this therapist's claim, that they should have applied something known as strict scrutiny. Basically, that Colorado needs to show a much more compelling justification for this law than they did in the lower federal courts. So it's going back to the lower federal courts for now. I doubt Colorado's law will survive. But yes, it was very telling that only Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson dissented from this decision.
Yeah, this is really interesting stuff. I mean, isn't it interesting that the left that scorns this decision is the one that always wants everyone to be inclusive and be able to express yourself, and diversity is important, unless diversity means talking about some issue culturally, socially that they don't agree with. Isn't that weird, Zach?
Right. No, I think it is unfortunately par for the course, Randy.
Yeah. Hey, make sure you pick up Zach's book, Rogue Prosecutors: How Radical Soros Lawyers Are Destroying America's Communities. Irrespective of Trump and his push to straighten things up, those Soros lawyers, Soros prosecutors are still at work trying to erode our public safety and law and order. So make sure you pick up that book. Zach, thanks for being with us. We'll check in with you soon after these arguments are done and talk about it some more, I hope.
Sounds great. Thanks so much for having me on. Take care.
There you go. Yeah, interesting stuff. The arguments are going to be really fascinating. I know we'll talk about it a little bit tomorrow. And I always can't wait to see what Gorsuch and Alito and some of the others are going to have to say. We'll bring that to you tomorrow. Stay tuned for more on Wake Up Missouri.
It's Wake Up Missouri.
We can always be sure of, I think, fair to say, that legislative bodies will tend to act like individuals when it comes to money. And by that, I mean when there's money in our pocket, we tend to spend it. When the wallet doesn't have any greenbacks in it and the credit card is, above your charge limit already and there's no coins left in the cup holder, it's funny how behavior changes. Well, that's what's going on in the Missouri General Assembly. A fiscal crunch, according to the Missouri Independent, that threatens to consume the remaining general revenue surplus is reducing the amount of earmarks that peaked at like 400 back in 2024, Stephanie, 250 last year. And apparently, according to the head of the chair of the Dirk Deaton, who's head of the appropriations committee, right? Budget chair, committee, yeah. Budget committee. It's like it's down to what? Just a handful. Did you see that? I mean, they're really trimming back, John. And think about that. From 400 down to like 10 earmarks. They're having to tighten their belt.
And that was the whole discussion that went into the 50 billion budget that the lower chambers now sent to the Senate.
Bill includes 1.3 billion of COVID-19 funds, where really those are now being burned up to where there's nothing hardly left anymore. Most of the projects in this bill were appropriated in 2021, so they're just fulfilling that commitment. I guess a large item is for major renovations of the Capitol building. Now, a few years ago, we saw all of the scaffolding on the outside of the building. Are we talking about inside the building now, completion?
Yeah, this was the rest of the whole project, and at the biggest stage, it even talked about building up underneath some below grade structures and adding on to the Capitol, which I think was rolled back.
Toilets aren't flushing. I mean, and have some work to do on the.
Plenty of it.
Yeah, no. Don't you hate that when you flush the toilet and it just sort of bubbles and there's a blockage and it's not because there's something blocking? I hate that. And then you found out after you call the plumbing contractor and he brings in the backhoe and or the ditch witch, roots growing in the pipes. Oh, has that happened to you yet?
No.
Oh, John, never happened to you?
I've been there, done that in the old septic tank days.
Wow.
Yep.
My buddy Seth Paul had to come out and rescue me from one of those things a year or two ago. Seth's a great guy. He does all that kind of work. I don't know.
Lived in an old farmhouse once where I went through that and had the guys come out and dig it up and said, what is a septic tank collapsed or got roots in it? And they kind of looked at me and elbowed each other and said, buddy, you don't have any septic tank here.
No.
All you've got is a straight pipe to the creek.
That's the pipe over the hill. Yeah.
That's right. Don't tell DNR.
You and those homeless people in Columbia. Well, they don't have a pipe, but it's all the same.
Got a lot of volunteer tomatoes down by the creek that year, though.
Oh, my God. Oh. There's nothing more to say. Hey, when we come back, Apple still is dealing with autocorrect. Not sure they have it right. That coming up.
Has America been
So I saw this story that troubles me. I don't think we've talked about this. Maybe we have, but it troubled me again because I made a. You know, sometimes if you're typing in your phone and you send the text, if typing on the run, you send the text and it goes to a friend and there's something that's misspelled because autocorrect corrected something you didn't want corrected. You don't worry about it. But sometimes if it's like a first contact with someone or more like an official thing, that happens with the comms people with guests that we want to schedule sometimes. And then you look at it afterwards, you go, oh my God, how unprofessional does that look? Look like I'm drunk,
You know what really grinds my gears about this?
What?
I've never ever wanted to say heel yeah in my entire life.
Heel yeah.
Never once.
Yeah. Does that happen to you, Steph?
Yeah, and I take grammar really seriously. So it even to friends, I will do a little correction because I'm just I don't want them to think I'm stupid.
Yeah.
But it happens, especially when I get in a hurry, it happens and it's embarrassing.
Man. And then there's times when you can't, it just seems like it's like the autocorrect is fighting you. You correct it, but it keeps on reiterating what you just corrected. Is there a way to get by that?
I think there are settings in which you can kind of turn on and turn off or change the words, but that would take too much time for me.
Well, apparently, after years of glaring typing issues, according to the Wall Street Journal, Apple has changed things with their latest update 26.4. I assume I'm updated. I don't know, but the this author said it didn't really fix everything. Because I didn't know this, but it learns you. So if you happen to make the same mistake a couple of times, that goes into your dictionary then, and it recognizes that. And then from then on, that's what it is. So PLEASE, if you go PLAAE, that's what your please is from then on. For example.
Yeah, it had an issue, I think, with what they called the ghost letters, and it was people who text really quickly, and that's the fix that they tried to change, and they're like, check this out, we fixed autocorrect, and people are like, what about all these other problems? I'm not trying to say heel yeah.
Yeah. Now, I do like when I tend to do a lot of, WE''LL. Instead of we will, I like to put we'll do this. And it's pretty good sometimes at reading that and correcting that. But sometimes it ends up with WELL. Well, do this. No, that's not what I want.
So in the off chance that I get kidnapped or something takes over my body or something like that, you can change your dictionary. So if you abbreviate a lot like I do,
yes.
I only have one that always sticks out. It's OMW, on my way. And I did this when I was a kid, and I put an exclamation point at the end because you normally say, I'm on my way, and then it's the end of the sentence. So every time that I say on my way, it always has that.
So here's what they're saying you can do. It gives you tips. So like Drake said, you can reset your personal dictionary. You can build your own autocorrect using the text replacement function. Oh. So you could make it say every time you put OMW, it would then type out on my way.
Oh.
You can add proper nouns if you're using proper nouns a lot to the dictionary. So that way it doesn't flag those or try to correct them. And then you can undo, this is maybe what you need, Randy, undo autocorrect fails. It says when the software makes a correction, you'll see an underlined word. You can tap that word to revert the correction and teach the model not to edit it in the future.
So tap the underlined word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good. Okay, so there's some hacks for the omnipotent autocorrect.
I say we just revert to the BlackBerry with the full keyboard.
Yeah.
That was lovely.
Now, here's another
Even
question.
though I love my Apple products, and Apple's turning 50 this year.
Now,
is it today? Technically, their birthday.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm probably an outlier on the way I text here, but I like swipe. I like swipe typing.
I've never done that.
I love that. That was originally a Samsung thing, but then I think there was a big, legal battle over that, and then you can do that on your Apple. I like that.
I'm right. Today is Apple's 50th birthday.
You ever tried swipe?
I like it.
I like it.
It's kind of fun.
It's pretty fun. Because I don't understand the thumb thing. My thumbs, you talk about fails and a lot of mistakes. The thumb thing doesn't work. I see people go, whoa, it's done.
That's a Barack Obama era with the thumbs on the BlackBerry.
Holy cow. Yeah, but how you can do it with that little tiny keyboard on the How big are your thumbs, Steph? Well, you got
I
smaller
have
thumbs.
tiny little hands.
Yeah.
I think the other
Big
thing
thumbs.
is, I mean, the weird thing that a lot more people are using voice text, and I'll send like a voice note, but voice to text, we get some of those on our text line every once in a while, and inevitably people are like, sorry, I was driving, voice text, and sometimes it can be decent, but a lot of times it's not keeping up.
Wrong. No, voice to text is actually amazing. I have not had a negative experience with it once.
Really?
No.
But then doesn't it come out with no punctuation, which also kind of grinds my gears?
It automatically does punctuation, like that's grammatically
Do you
correct.
have to say on my way, period?
Well, my mom does that. I don't know. Sometimes you'll have to like end a sentence if it's a run-on, but that's it. It is perfect. I've not had an issue.
It reminds me that my sister and I were on vacation, and we had a lady in a line in the bathroom with us, and she was trying to voice text very loudly, like in public, which was horrible. And she said, coming at the waterfall, period. Going to the store, period. And then she said, having a great time. And Sarah just looked back at her and said, period. Like, quit voice texting in public.
I don't know if Emmett's joking here. He says, Gary, it is autocorrupt.
Oh, autocorrupt.
Yeah, but Gary? I don't know. And then Patricia says, the inventor of autocorrect has passed away. The funnel is tomato. Evan sends us a picture with some stick figures and the caption, they're balloon things coming out of there. This is, everyone complains about autocorrect, but we forget about the time it prevented a nuclear war. And one of the stick figures next to a computer says to another one typing into the other computer, Sir, Strategic Command has sent us a lunch order. Don't they have anything better to do, says the respondent. Dodged a bullet there. Oh, man.
I know our boss Peter is like loathing right now because he hates jokes like that. Those little puns and all of that.
I love those kind of things.
I do too. We should bring them back. I'm tired of everyone trying to be the little comedians that are nowadays. Let's bring back dad jokes.
Nicholas says autocorrect is my worst enema. Oh,
it's good.
Oh my goodness.
Lance says voice text had SN update abbed my 25 doesn't have it. Okay, I think everyone is on board here that autocorrect has not yet been perfected. That's the case. Speaking of, did you see that Anthropic apparently erroneously dumped a bunch of their proprietary core coding? Did you see that for Claude?
What does that mean?
Well, I don't know. Look, there was language that was way above my understanding.
Yeah, I see it. CNBC, Anthropic leaks part of Claude Code's internal source code.
Yeah, I mean, apparently. And it's allegedly, it was code that the AI was supposed to protect from being leaked.
They do point out that no sensitive customer data or credentials were involved or exposed, but it could be beneficial to their competitors because right now they're in a huge race. Whether you're talking Google's Gemini, OpenAI, ChatGPT, Claude.
And then did you see
Microsoft's in on it?
Elon Musk, his XAI, had poached a bunch of developers from the other ones back in January or February when he bought some platform. And he was going to change the world. Well, they've all left now because of internal squabbles or something. The world of AI reminds me a little bit of like the gold rush. It is just a wild, 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 wild West Coast. And it's just, man, everyone clamoring for dominance. And then you see just about the time that you're gaining more trust, and AI probably going to be okay. Then Anthropic dumps a bunch of its proprietary stuff there.
Yeah, and then the Department of War went after them earlier, saying that they were a supply chain risk.
I was on a webinar yesterday with like medical AI and how can doctors use this given a bunch of data points that are incredible. Like let's say a 23andMe metabolomics, meaning your enzymatic variants that you have. I mean, thousands of different variations in your genome that could predict your risk of everything from cancer to heartburn to you name it, and current data and family history and everything. And there's no way that a doctor can put that together into some kind of a semblance that maybe distills into, if you do this and take that and that, it's probably going to improve your chances of avoiding XYZ, The problem is when they've tested, of course, they were advertising their special AI, which is the very best, but they gave some examples that gave just patently false information. One of them was popular hormone is DHEA, which is something that a lot of functional medicine doctors will give to help, with hormones. It's really not been proven to be as helpful as many think. But anyway, and the question it gave was, hey, can DHA, given that, is it a common source that your body can then convert to cortisol, the stress hormone, or sex steroids? And guess what? It got it wrong. I mean, it just got the biochemistry wrong. That was a competitor's medical AI. So, for the time being, I think while these things can be helpful, I don't know, have you found that in the legal realm where you need to really go over it?
Yeah.
You cannot trust it, face value. You have to confirm. And a lot of the AIs will give you references, right? The technical, do they give you like case law and stuff, and then you can go and confirm what you need to confirm?
I don't know about that. I mean, like if you're Googling, sometimes they'll give you links. I mean, but I think input in, like if you don't put the right things in, then you get junk out. So junk in, junk out.
Yeah.
But like if you give it something like a document or a case and say, if I give it a news article and say, summarize this document in bullets, and it has the source document in there, I think it does a fairly good job of that.
Then it does a good job.
But if you just ask it like open-ended things, then I think that's when you start to get the hallucinations.
I'd like to be the first to admit that I was wrong about AI. I thought that AI was going to be the death of search, like browsers like Google, Safari, and all that. Google...
They just built it into the
They
search.
have the best AI I've used, and it's so easy to use as well.
Like Gemini.
Yeah, Gemini is amazing.
It's good.
The original thing was, hey, I'm going to look up on ChatGPT instead of on Google, and then it's just better on Google. It's amazing.
I haven't used ChatGPT. I use Gemini and Grok. What are you laughing about, Drake?
Oh, Randy.
Well, that's not, if I'm going to use AI.
Grok is not the one. That's not the dagger.
I just like the name because it reminds me of that whatever of the universe, Masters of the Universe. What was that series with Chris Pratt? And who was the little tree character?
Groot.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Grok reminds me of Groot. Grok. My name is Groot. It just reminds me. I like the name Grok. John, what's happening when we come back?
April Fools, yes. Funny, not so much.
Okay, yeah. Let's see where we're going after that when we come back with John.
It's Wake
Except for this.
April Fool's Day, 1980, Boston TV news producer Homer Silly produced a TV broadcast about a hill in Milton, Mass. that begun oozing lava and spewing flames. He included warnings from President Jimmy Carter and real footage from Mount St. Helens that implied the Massachusetts volcano had fully erupted. Promptly fired for failing to exercise good news judgment and breaching FCC regulations. Fast forward to 2016, Google, an April Fool's prank you might remember, added the mic drop button to its email program. When clicked, it sent a notification of the outgoing email and literally disabled replies. Big problem was the mic drop button was right next to send, causing people to mic drop clients, spouses, children, friends, family, and more importantly, the boss.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah. And then on April 1st, 2002, a couple of KC DJs announced the local water supply been found to contain high levels of dihydrogen monoxide, whose side effects included sweating, urination, and pruny skin. Hundreds of citizens flooded the Water Department police with distress phone calls. Doctor, inform us what dihydrogen monoxide actually is.
I think it may be something made up. I'm not sure.
That's
water. That's water. That's H2O. Dihydrogen monoxide. That's water. H2O.
Oh.
That's what it is.
The resulting clamor got the DJs yanked off the air and almost saddled with felony charges.
Yeah, as I think about it, dihydrogen, which is
two hydrogens
and monoxide, one oxygen. Yep.
H2O.
So I was looking up some radio pranks, just trying to get some inspiration. We're not going to do
If you
any
prank
crazy.
me, we cannot be friends.
No, I'm done with the pranking stuff. It's so annoying sometimes, but apparently a lot of Europeans do this. So there was a Netherlands report in the 60s that the Leaning Tower of Pisa fell over.
Whoa.
There was a spoof concert on the BBC, and this is a really funny story. The Swiss lunar landing hoax. So the Swiss said that the Americans landed on the moon again, and it was so convincing that people in the embassy in there, they actually thought that it was happening. They didn't know that it was, fake. So, this is awesome. And to put context, I didn't know that Europe had radio stations until a month ago. So really cool.
Yeah, they're all operated by the government.
Yeah, we haven't had the email from Peter, but it's pretty much traditional for radio bosses to send an email and say, now, kiddos, no April Fool's jokes.
Yeah, we had a meeting.
Did we get one? I missed it.
But
yeah.
Honestly, if the stuff that came out on the internet yesterday would have been today, it would have been hard to figure out what was real and what was not.
Yeah, no kidding.
If you remember to last year, I was almost crying in the studio because I saw a post that said that Eli Drinkwitz was going to be the OC for the Colts.
Oh.
And I genuinely believed it.
Now that's
And
hilarious.
I was crying, not crying, but I was almost to tears in here thinking that Eli Drinkwitz
Now
was
that's
gone.
more of a Babylon Bee kind of a thing, right? I mean, come on.
But they got me.
Really? You actually for a minute thought maybe?
Yeah, I did. And the worst part was I'd seen it before. That was the worst part.
One of the jocks on our music stations a number of years ago had an ongoing bit where there was a U.S. Navy submarine stationed in the Lake of the Ozarks, and he would put the skipper on the air, who turned out to be his brother, who lived out of state, and the Water Patrol got wind of it and got all upset and insisted the Navy had not informed them of any submarines at the lake, and they were quite indignant when they found out it was a prank.
Oh, my God.
Be careful out there today, folks.
Nathan says, I told my kids school was canceled due to rain.
I mean.
Hey, let's check in and see what's happening with Iran and others when we come back.
Headquarters.
Mr. Woods, though he's been charged with DUI.
It's your morning addiction. Wake Up Missouri with Stephanie Bell.
This has to end. You know, we have a core responsibility to keep our government open.
The Zimmer News Team.
Ultimately, the reason why Cuba's a disaster is because their economic system doesn't work.
And now, introducing your host, Randy Tobler.
Can't ignore that for 47 years they've avoided and rejected any effort to negotiate. That doesn't mean we're going to stop trying. President Trump always would rather have negotiations than war. And he will always win. We gave him 60 days early last year. We gave him additional time to negotiate after Midnight Hammer again earlier this year. But each and every time, those things have proved fruitless. But we're going to keep trying. There are messages being exchanged. There are talks going on. There is the potential for direct meeting at some point. We're always going to be open for that. But what President Trump is not going to allow is he's not going to allow fake negotiations to be used as a delay tactic.
Well, there's Marco Rubio making it perfectly clear that we know what the Iranians are up to. They're not going to negotiate in good faith. That's our default assumption, and they're not going to get away with it. Now, Stephanie Bell, President Trump has moved that 48-hour timeline back 5 days. That was ending last Friday. Then it was 10 days, which ends sometime, I think, over the weekend or maybe early next week. How far will he move the goalpost before he says enough? Maybe we'll learn tonight. I'm hoping we're going to learn tonight. Of course, he's going to address the nation at 8 p.m. Central. We'll be having that live on all of our Zimmer stations, our Zimmer news stations. So tune in. But yeah, I think he's got some explaining to do, and I think, the left right now is saying, oh, he's totally switched his position and he's moved the goalposts and all of this, and I think, he's going to have to tell us tonight what the plan is. And, John, some of the talk has been, he's intimated that he's going to, I'm paraphrasing, just bring the war to an end. Don't know what that means. And let the Straits of Hormuz be the Straits of Hormuz, and we're going to take care of our own fossil fuel supply, and Europe be damned. I mean, that's in a capsule what seems to be part of the message yesterday. Yeah, that's what he told the NATO groups and a lot of the Gulf nations as well. It's like you deal with it. Yeah. Problem is, he sort of broke the glass. Doesn't he need to buy it? If you walk through the shop and those signs that say, you break the glass, you break the vase, you got to buy the vase. Huh? That would probably, I'm afraid that kind of, I'm sure he's not going to do that, but that would really threaten what is an evolving, I think, warmer and more supportive relationship between the neighboring Gulf states and the United States, right? I mean, is it a tactic to get Europe to do anything? But it doesn't seem like they're going to be moving. But, yeah. They're drinking their drip coffee and eating their meat pies over in UK. I don't know what those people are doing. What is with the Europeans? we protect their sorry butts. Bailed them out of World War II pretty good. They hate Trump. Hate him. They do, hate don't they? Yeah, but can't they see that this is not to their benefit? If he does basically say, it's yours. We tried. We asked for a little help. We could have had this thing over. You're obstructing. Not only you're not helping, you're obstructing what we're doing. So fine. Like you say, deal with it. Yeah, I mean, I think Trump is always playing 3D chess, and sometimes like what you're hearing on Truth Social isn't the end game. And so I'm struggling with how, like, what the end game is here, but I think he has a plan. I just don't know what it is yet. And so whether or not this statement yesterday, like, we're just going to walk away and it's on you, whether that is some sort of pressure campaign for the allies, whether he's being for real and has a plan for how to, because the problem with leaving it closed is, and he says, oh, we have our own oil. Well, it's still driving our prices up, and that's still a problem for him. And I don't think he's going to want to walk into the midterms with, gas. We're now over $4 a gallon nationally. So I don't think that's the end game plan. He always checks right along with art of the deal, with leveraging and think big thoughts and baffle your opponents. So it's nothing new under the sun. He's been in the same mindset
whether it's the business world or international politics, since the 80s.
I mean, he could say that today and say, we're just going to leave the Strait of Hormuz alone. And then, tonight those B-2s go over with the bunker buster and hit Karg Island. And he says, told ya.
Yeah,
right? Because he said that earlier,
our
last week.
paratroopers are landing in the coastal missile launchers, and we're occupying Karg Island, and everything's open tomorrow.
Right.
You never know.
Right. So is he and they're like, I mean, is he luring them into a sense of well, maybe he's walking away? No. And then he just drops something on
Well, you're
them?
right. At a minimum, he's highlighting their complacency, right? And I think that you're right. That could set the stage for overwhelming shock and awe in that very important bottleneck where it just, fine, we're going to show you what real power projection is, and we're going to open things up. On the other hand, we need to get Larry Behrens on, because I wonder. So in my mind's eye, I'm thinking, how when we talk with Larry, we talk with energy experts, you always hear this thing about, well, even though we're producing enough for ourselves and we've got plenty abundant supply, it's a global market and our stuff becomes the world's stuff and it all becomes factored into the price. Could the president say, effective tomorrow, there will be no exports of LNG, of oil, of anything else, and we're keeping our own marbles and we're taking them and basically going home? Could he do that, and would we have enough supply? I wonder. I don't know.
I don't either. And then I would expect, if we did something like that we would see retaliation from other folks that action affected.
From whom?
I don't know the intricacies of the oil
Probably
market.
the Gulf states and the Gulf states customers.
I mean, every time he announces a new tariff, we get them announcing something against us. Same. I mean, it's a two-way street. And so I would suspect, if we say we're not dealing with you anymore, I mean, that's kind of how we got into all the tariffs with China, because China was, messing up the supply chain and saying that they weren't going to sell us rare earth minerals and all these other things.
Speaking of which,
every action has an equal reaction.
Speaking of tariffs, last night at the Boone County Lincoln Days, I valiantly tried to send a message to all the speakers. Now, we don't expect it of the main speakers, but to the candidates and the speakers, that chairwoman of the Central Committee here, Lisa Gore, she had given them a 3 to no more than 5 minute time limit. So I said that if they did, I have to check with Jennifer Bukowski. Next time you see Jen, would you ask her? I made it up as I was going.
See, the problem was Drake wasn't there. Drake, give us the buzzer. You needed one of these.
Yeah, you need to do that.
At 3 minutes, just that.
But I said, look,
that would have worked better.
For every minute you go over, Jennifer's going to charge you a tariff. And we're going to recoup some campaign funds, and they're going to go to the Republican Party. Not that you can do that. I don't know. And everyone blew it off. I felt like I was talking to my kids.
It's just like the joy of Lincoln Days, right?
Yeah.
It's going to go long. Everyone's going to say their piece. It's just, you're in for the long haul.
Actually, they were a lot of very, very good speeches.
I could have listened to Aaron Hedlund talk for
great.
5 more hours.
He did a great job. We heard from Bob Onder, who was really fired up. His district's going to be different. It's going to encompass more of Boone County.
Correct.
We heard from Secretary of State Denny Hoskins, who had some fancier silk thread. I know the red coat last night. I asked him. I said, "Is it fancy stepping up in the world? Are you getting some nice tailor in there, huh?" He said, I actually have 3.
Oh.
From the Jack Buck collection.
There you
right?
go. There you go. And he had some really wild alligator boots. You see those boots that Denny had?
Yeah.
Man, rugged boots.
You guys get along. I saw him in downtown. He's walking with his weighted vest. He's really into fitness.
There you go.
Wife,
he is a fitness guy.
Yeah,
he and his wife
together.
do marathons.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, he's got to beefed up in case he's encounters someone that wants to accost him because he just wants to have voter integrity. I mean, the stories he told about the threats and the things people say on him and threaten him, and man,
it's scary.
What's wrong with you lefties? I mean, I thought you were all about civility and can't we all get along and we are the world and kumbaya. And then because a politician disagrees with you, you're doxing people, threatening them.
Who said it was a lefty? I mean, I don't know. He took a really long time to get the gaming stuff taken care of. So, I mean.
And then Catherine, I liken Catherine Hanaway to one of the modern women adventure heroes, like Wonder Woman. She's fighting off trans stuff. She's trying to make, if you're going to provide abortions under the current Amendment 3, at least make your place meet quality standards that everyone else doing procedures has to do. And then she's fighting to maintain Missouri First map. I mean, she's got several things on her plate.
Illegal
bam,
gaming
bam, 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 here,
machines.
Yeah.
Drugs. She's got violence. She's got it all. And she's
Great
kicking
job.
some butt.
Yeah, she's awesome. One, I'd like to say that was a joke earlier. Two, I have to admit something that just shows I don't know anything about politics.
Yes, sir.
I 100% thought that Anne Hathaway and Catherine Hanaway were the same person. It makes sense. Catherine Hanaway, Anne Hathaway. I mean, you could kind of see it.
But Anne Hathaway was in Les Mis.
Yeah, I know.
Does Catherine Hanaway have a singing voice? Can she sing vocally?
I don't know.
To ask
She
her
was
the next time we see her.
she was a barrel racer for a long time.
She was
really?
Yeah, like a
rodeo star. Yeah.
First woman Missouri Speaker of the House, first woman AG, barrel racer, action
I wonder
adventure.
what Marvel character would you compare her to? Maybe I think Catherine Hanaway probably more like Storm.
Yeah, I don't know. I just was thinking Gal Gadot, right? I mean, just fighting off things. Got the shield, bang, bang, right? And then she goes on the offensive once in a while. She's going after this 70H.
Yeah, and she's filed the lawsuit against the Census Bureau,
Yes.
and she talked a little bit about that last night and how important that could be, and how it could essentially add 1 or 2 congressional seats to Missouri and lots of additional federal funding.
Right.
So she's got a lot going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's important stuff. So yeah, she did a good job. So, all right. Well, we'll step aside and see how the markets are doing. Okay. 573-874-9390 if you want to weigh in on what we're talking about. Gary wants to talk with us. Hey, Gary, call back at 8:35. We'll talk to you then. We got to head over to the morning bell. Stay tuned.
It's Wake Up
Here's the morning bell ahead of the stock market opening. What's it looking like?
Oh, it was a stellar day with Trump potentially signaling the end of the war. Stocks were up really big. We had the Dow up 2.49%, S&P up 2.91%, NASDAQ up 3.83%. So we'll see how they react after his comments this evening. The biggest winners yesterday, all up over 3%, were industrials, consumer discretionary, technology, and communication services. Now, Randy, I picked this story just for you because I know you're anti-technology.
No, I'm not anti-technology.
And you're all about the family. And I'm all about businesses choosing to do things in different ways and letting you vote with your feet and reward them if it's something you like, right? So I remember I was very anti-smoking ban. There was a bar in downtown Jefferson City who just said, we're going to do no smoking. And that's the bar I like to go to because I didn't want to be covered in smoke. I didn't want the city or everyone to do smoking bans. Now everyone's got a smoking ban. But I think like having a creative idea and letting people reward you with their dollars is a good thing. So one, Chick-fil-A is getting in on this mix. It is in Towson, Maryland, and they've launched what they're calling the Cell Phone Coop Challenge. And so you go in, you order your food, you ask for a little box, what they call a chicken coop. How cute is that? A coop. And you put all of your phones inside the box.
Okay.
And if you complete the coop challenge, if you eat your dinner with your phones in the coop, you get free ice cream. How cool is that? So a recent study found that 68% of households have someone on their phone during meals. Most people say they don't like it or that that's rude. Another poll said 86% of Americans admit they use their phones to avoid socializing. And they're trying to like bring back the family dinner. We've all done it,
That's
right?
a good thing. Yeah.
And it's tough. I mean, I'm connected to this thing, but I will say like some of my best dinners, some of my best evenings, I pick up my phone at the end of the night and I'm like, man, I wish I would have got a picture. You know, I'm a picture girl. I like pictures. And I forgot about the phone or I intentionally left it behind.
Great night.
But it was more meaningful, like better conversation, better laughs because everyone was present.
Yep.
And so I think I wonder if other businesses will copy this Chick-fil-A thing. I know some people have this at their home, right? Some people will put like a special box near the table or wherever and make kids turn their phone in when you're sitting down for a meal. I'm not great about it. I'm not going to lie.
So I can see a potential problem with this.
Okay.
If you're stacking 3 or 4 iPhones together, like I keep my old iPhone as an alternate to maybe do a little, if I'm on a Wi-Fi at home, to do research or something on it. I don't know. I just do that. And I keep it as a backup alarm in the morning. So I have like 3 or 4 alarms on 2 different phones going off, right? Because I don't want to be late.
Like that.
I do. But I don't have a problem with it. I wake up naturally anyway, but it's just like I don't want to be late. So at any rate, when I get the phones too close together, there's this communication.
They like do this kiss
it's like,
thing.
Zzz,
yeah.
And I'm like, what does this mean? Now my phones are connected. Is there something? Is it like a Matrix mind meld? What's going on?
I think you can do it and it will like give your contact info to the other person or something.
So what happens if you stack your phones in the chicken coop and pretty soon you've got everyone else's?
It'll be fine.
Yeah?
It's not a problem. I think you have to, once it does the zzz thing, I think you have to actually click like accept or okay. I think you can also, can't you transfer photos that way?
All I know is
kind of like
yes.
tapping. Yeah.
All I know is there's all kind of Siri blue and red things going around the edge of the phone. It doesn't feel right.
Well, you could turn your phone off and put it in the box.
But then I have to wait for it to boot up.
But it's worth it. You get free ice cream.
Well, wonder what kind. Do they have vanilla? Do they have the swirl?
I don't think I've ever
what
had
does
ice
Chick-fil-A
cream.
have on ice cream? They have soft serve? Yeah.
You've never had ice cream at Chick-fil-A?
No.
I don't think so.
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome.
I like their diet lemonade. It's very good. But
I like to boost on calories, so I'll get like a shake or something.
my kids would forgo a phone if they got ice cream for free at the end of the meal, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, a business idea for you if you're looking for one, you have a business, or something you can implement at home with your own family.
Speaking of tech, we've been following this saga of expensive RAM because we worry about Drake's RAM. Better news coming forward after this.
I think
800-529-5572 if you want to call in and talk about the issues of the day. 573-874-9390. That's Stephanie Bell. I'm Randy Tobler, along with John Marsh and Drake Whitman.
We're trying to keep up with all the texts this morning.
We are. The text line is burning up. Yeah.
Y'all really have some good autocorrect stories and jokes.
Thank you, Melissa. I enjoyed emceeing last night, and it was great to see you and so many other people there at the Boone County Lincoln Days. 1776 to 2026, America's 250th celebration gala it was at the Lincoln Days. Congrats to Lisa Gore and all the great people at the Boone County Republican Central Committee that did such a great job putting that together. Cherie Tolson-Rice had the silent, not so silent auction. It was very good. You see that Stars and Stripes AR-15?
Yeah.
That was cool. That was good.
You didn't buy it?
I didn't buy it. I wanted to. Oh, I wanted to buy the Blantons. Brent Voorhees, who's had a lot of time in auction, did the auction, and they auctioned off a donated bottle of Blanton's bourbon. Whoa, good stuff. I think it went for $125.
Is that a good price?
That's a good price for Blanton's. Yeah, I mean I think that's probably about retail or a little more. I wish it would have brought more. So we're following the stories of the birthright citizenship arguments in the Supreme Court today. President Trump, it looks like, is going to be there. He's en route as we talk down Pennsylvania Avenue to the Supreme Court building. Tonight, he will be making an address to the nation. It will be broadcast on KWTO, the Eagle, KWOS at 8 o'clock. And Artemis is going to launch. Now, will we have some conflict of entertainment choices?
I thought Artemis was like at 6-ish.
Oh, okay, good.
Right?
I didn't know the Artemis time. But, sometimes they have a delay. They get a little leak, and then they have to cancel it or delay it. Like, take the wrench and go up on
6:24 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. What?
6:24 p.m. Eastern.
Whoa,
this would be the best April Fool's joke if it's like, hey, the launch has been, canceled or not canceled, but delayed, and then tomorrow it's like, hey, April Fools, they're already up in space.
We chose April Fools and the full moon as the launch date. Like, who was responsible for that?
We're not sure.
You might as well launch it on Friday the 13th.
We're not.
Okay, so wait. I am so bad at time changes. So 6:24 Eastern means
5:24 our time.
Okay, so we have an hour and a half to watch 2.5 hours before the speech to watch the rocket
I always hate that. They get down to, like, they're counting down 10 minutes to go, and that's like, we got to send a mechanic up with a wrench up to the gantry, up level 5, got a little leak there, tighten up the C-clamp, the hose clamp, I mean. Yeah. Okay, Gary's on the line. Gary, thanks for calling back. Welcome to Wake Up Missouri.
Yes, it's just about the companies that it would bust or hurt not to sell our LNG or oil overseas.
Yeah.
I mean, they got, we could do bailouts of $200-300 billion to the oil industry. That's what we'd have to do because they've got contracts.
I see. Yeah.
Those carriers are $24 million each.
Yeah.
To ship them, they've got the ship makers, everybody that's in the pipeline to allow for the frackers and everybody. They'd all feel that pain. I mean, it just destroyed us within our own energy system too much. So, anyway, hey, another point. Everybody join the apolitical party.
Okay.
That way it could be objective and
well, no,
I don't feel like supporting any of them.
Well, that would be the uniparty, right? We got too much of that. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate the call. So here's Donald Trump. He's on his way to there's a motorcade going down Pennsylvania Avenue, taking him to the Supreme Court. Here is his comment yesterday on what was going to happen on that.
Have their children get an American citizenship. It is the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's been so badly handled by legal people over the years. If you look at the original birthright citizenship papers, they all happened right after the Civil War. The reason was it had to do with the babies of slaves.
So when I heard that, the babies of slaves, I thought, how long will it be before they come out with a meme? Remember, the babies of slaves. Remember this?
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs.
The babies of
They're
slaves.
eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
The babies of slaves.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
The babies of slaves.
They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Remember that?
It's getting silly.
I love that. I don't know. I was so slap happy last night. I heard that and I said, Helene, it's got that rhythm to it. The babies of slaves. They're eating the cats. Remember that? That was a funny bit back then. And
back in my day, it was really funny.
This was in the 24 election. Remember?
I'm just quoting what you said,
in
Randy.
Springfield, they're eating the.
I don't know. I think we should let it. I think we should let it lay.
I just love that beat. It's like they're eating this babe. I like that.
I prefer the Marco Rubio memes, but I did feel bad yesterday because they definitely gave him the Mr. Gnome fake chest.
They did. Oh, did they? Oh,
yeah.
That keeps giving. That's the meme that keeps giving, huh? 573-874-9390. In other news, now this is an interesting thing. Stephanie, you posted this on our show page here, on our prep page, about Tiger Woods. This is a X post from a guy named Sean Zach. Tiger Woods DUI police report released today. Now this is what he says are the bullet points. Remember, Tiger rolled his car in a suburban, Jupiter 2-lane drive there.
He clipped the back of a truck.
Woods says he glanced at his phone when car ahead slowed down. Bullet point next. Officers observed Woods as lethargic, slow, and sweating profusely.
If anyone ever describes me as sweating profusely, you'll never see me again. I'm going into hiding.
Next.
That would be the worst.
This is what's weird. I think this guy, Sean, this is where you have to be careful about X. 2 white pills in his pocket, parentheses, hydrocodone. Now, we need to see the actual police report, but this is a cautionary tale. And then the next one, after the allegation that in the police report somehow hydrocodone emerges, you can't just say 2 white pills or hydrocodone. Eyes were bloodshot, glassy, and extremely dilated. So what connection would you naturally make?
So are you saying that the white pills weren't hydrocodone?
Well, what I'm saying is opioids constrict your pupils.
Okay, so what
they don't dilate your pupils.
But he did the breathalyzer and got a 0. Yeah. So what could cause your eyes to be dilated that you're on?
It would be some upper. It'd be some amphetamine or cocaine it would be something else. But you wouldn't be lethargic.
And they said he was extremely chatty with them, I think, was some of the police report when they were interviewing
I
him.
think we put this tweet into the AI and asked them what would cause you to be sweating profusely, have bloodshot eyes, and extremely dilated.
I'm thinking
and be lethargic.
More of some kind of
what?
Of an adrenergic, an adrenaline kind of a thing.
Yeah, so, coked up is what it sounds like.
But you wouldn't be. But would you be lethargic?
Maybe you were coming down off of it.
Well, now, yeah, if you are withdrawing from these things, you could sweat profusely. So if we find Stephanie sweating profusely,
maybe he was racing
that she's
home.
Withdrawing.
Maybe he was racing home to get some more of it, and that's why he was having problems.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say maybe he knew that like his affair partner was rushing home to tell his wife, and maybe that's why he was driving so fast. And also, if you're Tiger Woods, if you've gotten pulled over so many times, I mean, even if I wasn't on drugs and I just got in an accident, I'm sweating profusely. I don't know about you guys. I'm worried.
And some people are just sweaty naturally, right? Like some people are sweaty.
Yes.
And it was Florida. What was the weather like?
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
are you asking Grok?
I'm asking Grok. I'm asking Grok as we sit here, and I'm going to
Stephanie, look at what he's typing in. I want to know. Is it just what was Tiger Woods on?
He's putting the tweet in.
I'm just saying this is what it was. This is the police. The most likely drug, hydrocodone. Hydrocodone effects. Impaired coordination. Pupils. Classic opioid effect usually includes pinpoint constricted pupils. See, Grok's right. Especially
It's
in higher
right.
doses or overdose.
Randy just admitted the AI was right.
So this is somewhat. So Grok says extremely dilated pupils are somewhat atypical for pure opioid intoxication. I don't know.
So does it
Mixture with other substances. Oh, I love this. Individual variation. Stress from cash. I don't know.
Maybe he was stressed.
Something
Maybe
doesn't make
maybe he
sense
has
here.
big pupils.
And maybe he was on, uppers and downers, pain pills, and whatever else,
Yeah, the abuse culture tends to lead to that, right? A lot of the child stars in the early days, Shirley Temple, Judy Garland, a lot of those.
Isn't that a drink?
Their stage moms would bring them down with something to sleep and then bring them up to perform. Down, up, and that's how they got into this cycle of drug use. Yeah. Back in the day, it was Dexedrine. You could get that over the counter, I think, couldn't you? Yeah. My dad talked about that. It was pretty popular in college back in the 50s. A guy could take Dexedrine. Now, they just tell their parents that they're, guys especially, the ADHD guys, I need more of my Concerta, more of my Adderall. I lost it. The dog ate it. I left it under the car. No.
A scene right out of Mad Men with the Dexedrine and all that stuff.
Yeah. So something doesn't make sense out of this. I guess maybe sometime we'll get toxicology results. Well, what? No, he didn't provide.
Says he's going in rehab.
Is he? He didn't provide toxicology.
He didn't pee in the cup.
Evidence.
Yeah.
He didn't pee in the cup, and he didn't stick his arm out for a blood sample.
I'm sticking to my guns. I think that love is a more powerful drug than all this other
He
stuff.
has a girlfriend though. He's not. He's
still a sex addict.
he's not married, right?
No,
I'd assume not. No,
He's got the Trump girlfriend.
You can have He's probably got 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6.
Sex addict.
Yes,
you'd know.
Now, what's that supposed to mean, Randy? What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know. I just thought I'd throw it out.
That's
there.
it. I'm taking it to break.
There it is.
Now, but here's the thing.
What Drake's handicap is.
Substance abuse is a terrible, difficult, unbelievably challenging problem to break, right? It's very difficult. That's why I think Donald Trump's advice is wise. Just don't go there, especially if you have a family history or, and I feel sorry for people that are in this, but I hope they would seek help earlier in the process rather than later when they get into legal trouble or professional trouble or relationship trouble, But sometimes that's what it takes. Well, we wish him well. We hope he gets help and he breaks the habit and he does well. We'll come back and wrap it up with leftovers after this on Wake Up Missouri.
It's Wake Up Missouri.
I talked about we were going to throw Drake a ram bone. Not Rambo, but a ram bone. Because you've been lamenting the fact that RAM is so expensive. You can't upgrade your computer, put in more terabytes of memory.
I don't care. I just know that it's affecting a lot of people I know.
Well, remember,
I have my computer. They can go screw themselves. I built this.
Well, you were talking about how RAM had gone from, $50 for whatever amount up to $400, right?
Yeah, it's
Well,
terrible.
Apparently there's been a collapse because Google's DeepSeek moment, which detailed how TurboQuant, a compression algorithm, I'm reading this from some website.
I tried to read that article and I had no idea what it was talking
Zero
about.
Hedge.
I'm really good on the application side, but once you start talking about like the hardware, I got a guy for that.
But it was cool. Apparently they've done something that a compression algorithm for large language models, which will reduce AI memory. And so what happened was, in the U.S., Amazon listings showed steep declines in DDR5. What is that pricing?
DDR5 is a type of RAM.
Okay. In mainland China, retailers described the move as a price collapse. 16 gigabytes falling from $145 to $101, 32 gigabytes from $435 to $319. So like 30%.
It's still not where it's at, but the other thing that I'm a little worried about, whenever you become so efficient at this, you don't think, well, you know what, I'm going to stay at the level I'm at. I'm going to now have the same amount of RAM or even purchase more and just get more done. So, I mean, I don't know how it's going to affect the market. It seems like it's doing better, but still it's way up from when it started.
And what's the RAM do? It just is it processing power or
I
memory?
get to be a nerd. So RAM stands for random access of memory or something like that.
Right.
I'm sure one of our engineering guys are going to yell at me for that. But basically, how do I say this? It makes it faster to go to your hard drive. Imagine like you have 3 different stores with 3 different things that you need. And you go over to the RAM is the car. So depending, if you can go like 1,000,000 miles an hour, you go there quicker. So that's how it works.
So it's the difference between walking into the bank lobby and doing a transaction and sitting in your car and having the tube go, suck it up and do it.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. That's a great analogy.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah, not really. I'm trying. But basically, it's the conduit between the current task you're doing and what's on your hard drive. Is that it?
Yeah.
So
you're
your
able
short-term memory, right, Drake?
So I can have 1,000 tabs open instead of just 100.
Yeah, it definitely. Google is actually the biggest thing that takes RAM. It is terrible about it.
Randy and I are currently in a competition, I think, for who has the most tabs open.
I'm glad that I'm glad you like having a lot of tabs because I get pummeled by friends and foes.
I know. I'll be like, my computer's running slow, and they're like, how many tabs do you have open? And I'm like, it doesn't matter. It should still work.
No, the worst part about it is whenever Randy comes in and is all of his tabs from, the last 3 years is stuck on there. And he's like, where did my tabs go?
That is not true. What's annoying is that Stephanie showed me how to do this. What did you call it?
It's like a Chrome
a new tab group. Well, I do that, and I have every day the tab group is erased. Am I being sabotaged by engineering? Why?
I think it's
why
user
go to
error.
the trouble of creating a tab
I have
group?
my little tab group, and it works just
Well, it's because
fine.
you're on your own computer.
Can't you make it so like you just click it and it opens up all of your tabs?
Yes.
Isn't
I'm telling you, my tab group, I make it, it disappears. I make it, it disappears.
Did you save it?
I thought if you
the
made
problem
it,
is he tried saving it in OneDrive and it ate it. I hate what's up with
no,
OneDrive.
it's create new tab group. That's it. You've created the tab group.
You know what, Randy? I'll actually spend some time researching this. Tomorrow we'll have an answer.
Hard drive prices are out of control, says Ken. 1 terabyte is cheap, says Brian. Tigers smoke cannabis. Sounds like he was coked up. I don't know. We'll have to see. Hey, guys, it's always fun being with you. Thanks for being with us today. Tomorrow, I'm sure we'll be talking about the Supreme Court arguments today, President's speech, which we'll hear on your local station.
And
here
the rocket launch.
At 8 o'clock. And the rocket launch and more. And we'll figure out the tab group problem.
Bye.